So I think I see some people who are ready to hear from our featured guest today. I'm really excited to be speaking with Baron Davis this evening. Baron has had a terrific 13-year career in the NBA as a two-time NBA All-Star, playing with the Hornets, the Warriors, the Clippers, the Cavs, the Knicks. He was amazing to watch on the court as a point guard. And after his career, he did something that very few professional athletes have been able to achieve, which is to successfully transition into a successful business and tech career. He's the founder of Business Inside the Game and Baron Davis Enterprises. We're going to talk all about his journey tonight. Can you please welcome Baron Davis to the stage, everyone? Big claps. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. All right, please, go ahead. Right there is perfect. All right, so my mom is Korean, and she told me that whenever we have like a big event like this, we got to start with a little gift, and you can pick one of the 3 hippocorns to take home with you. The hippocorn, by the way, is our official mascot at Hustle Fund. It is part hippo, part unicorn, on sale at store.hustlefund.vc. We lose $2 for every sale. Fun fact. Amazing. Okay.
I love this.
All right. You have 2 kids, so maybe you should take 2 home later today. Okay.
Yeah. Only one play with toy. Play with this. The other one is like action figures. This one stuffy guy. The other one is an action figure guy. So.
Well, everyone loves a hippocorn. And I'm going to make you hold that the whole time. I just realized.
It's
all
awesome.
Good.
I'm used to it.
All right. So, Baron, I'd like to start with a softball question. And just a heads up, it is not a softball at all. So I once heard this saying in church, that small hinges swing wide doors. It might be like a seemingly small moment in your life's journey that opens up a huge opportunity or path later in life. Maybe it was like a person that you met or a mentor that gave some good advice or something that you experienced. Can you let us know about a small hinge moment that inspired your NBA career? And then maybe another small hinge moment that inspired your career after the NBA.
Yeah, I would say I'll start the story. I was very small. I was like 5'3" in 9th grade, 5'5", 130 pounds my sophomore year. And I did not think that I would be, recruited to a major university out of like Northern Arizona, Air Force, like not to diss nobody college if they went there, but I always aimed at like playing major D1 basketball. So I would go up to UCLA every summer when the pros would play, and then they would bring in like all the top high school kids, all the top college kids, and I would just sit there every day and just wait my turn. And I waited a year. The next year I come back, I'm a junior, and I waited. Every kid, like I had to be ranked like 85 because there were like 84 other high school kids that got a chance to play with like Magic and the pros, and I would just be sitting there watching. And one day I got an opportunity to play. They needed one, and Magic Johnson happened to play that day, and I was killing, dude. And like my whole life changed from there. He like came up to me after the game, after the workouts, and he was like, I want you to go to college here. I want UCLA. You should go to UCLA. I was like, they're not even recruiting me, dude. What are you talking about? And he was like, they are now. And I was like, okay, like I'm going to UCLA. And so like that was kind of like the moment where it was like the oh shit moment. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, this is my childhood idol. And
it's interesting that was Magic too, because like he, I think, is almost like the epitome of like the best example of an athlete who also transitioned into a crazy career afterwards as well.
Yeah.
Was there a tie between those two things of just like seeing him on the court and then what happened later?
Yeah, I would say for me, just coming into the NBA, like, you look at someone like Magic Johnson and you're like, damn, I want to pattern my business life, the way that he's building his brand. And he was one of the few athletes at the time who had real business or was growing a business and talking about business outside of just talking about, your sport. And so for me, it was, I kind of like just watched and followed and studied, and everything that he did, I researched on, and it kind of inspired me to start my own agency and represent myself at 21 years old. which was really incredible.
Wait, that's so weird. So
Yeah,
were you at UCLA at this point?
No, I was in the NBA. It was going on my third year in the NBA, and I'd never forget. I'm sitting on the bus, and we were in Orlando, and we were gonna beat them. We were up 2-1. We were gonna beat them, and everybody was like, "Dude, after the season, they gotta pay you the money. They gotta pay you the money." And so all these veterans was just talking about their infrastructure. Oh, I got an agent. Oh, you should hire a lawyer. You don't need to hire a lawyer. Hire the PA. And I was just sitting there just taking it all in. And I was like, all right, after this season, I'm going to meet with each one of these dudes that was telling me, like, yo, do not, mess your money up. Go get all the money that you can. And so I sat down with each one of my vets. Derek Coleman had a lawyer. Eddie Jones had a lawyer. And then I just decided, like, well, if they're going to pay me a maximum contract, then why don't I just take it all for myself? So I had
It's amazing.
So I hired a guy who was an agent, and we were literally on the phone. Like, I was standing over his shoulder, and I put the phone on mute, and I'd be like, "Man, don't do that. Like, tell him we want to do this." And he just negotiated. So I really was there, like me and 3 of my college teammates, Ty Ramazar, Rico Hines. We all decided, like, all right, I'm going to be the agent. I'm going to get all the leads in, set up a P.O. box at the time. And, like, whoever want to do business with us, great. If they don't, they won't find us anyway unless I'm balling. So my mission was to play basketball and to, like, be a personality. But at the same time, I had to get out and do the work. Like, I didn't have anybody to represent me. It was just I had to represent my friends to get them into the door. And so that was just kind of like our mission for, the rest of my NBA career.
So the big takeaway from the story that Baron just shared was, for the record, I was taller and heavier than Baron in my sophomore year of high school than he was, okay? Except Magic didn't pick me out. That is an incredible story. So, all right, I think you were about 37 years old when you retired from the NBA. And, there's a bunch of younger people out here right now who aren't going to get this, but you were basically like a kid still. You had like so much life ahead of you. So tell us a little bit more about how you actually began to plan for a life outside of NBA, and was that a scary prospect for you? Did you never want it to stop?
Well, you definitely don't want it to stop. You just don't know when it's stopping. It's like you show up to the train station and it's like the train is gone. And you're like, damn. It was like, it left last week. What happened to you? It's like, all right, that's when you know you're retired. When they change the dates on training camp and like you show up the week at UCLA and nobody's there. So
Wow.
It's just like, it just shows this ever evolving, game in this industry. And for me, I would say when I got close to the end of my career, I was already like making those negotiations. And so that's when I really start transferring to, all right, if I'm going to go to these cities, I'm going to make sure that, I make the right connections with people in the off season. I'm going to start doing internships. I'm going to start hanging around business people, going to conferences, and like use my brand as Baron Davis to attract like the information that I need.
Can we talk about those internships for a second? So
Yeah.
like on your resume, was it like 2-time NBA All-Star and I want to work at an investment bank? Like where were you actually working during these internships?
I worked at a real estate firm. They did like triple net leasing. I didn't last too long there.
Were these folks just like, why the hell are you here though? Because like,
yeah, they didn't understand. Like, well, for me, I would say when I first started doing it, the guy was like, man, come to our corporate meeting. We're going to introduce you to the team. And I was like, all right, cool. And so as a basketball player, I showed up in like shorts, flip-flops, and everybody was in suits. And I was like, oh shit, like this is not going to work. I got to change my mentality. So that worked for about 3 or 4 weeks. I interned for a production studio, and directors. Like I always like hanging out on set because as a creative, it's important for me to understand storytelling, how to tell a story, who to tell a story with. Where else did I intern? I interned for like this family office guy who was an investor. So he taught me a lot about manufacturing, private equity, mergers and acquisitions, how you buy a company, why would you invest in a company. So that was cool. I spent some time with him. He's actually 100 years old now. And he's a former, he wrote state legislation, finance laws in North Carolina. So he's a huge mentor. I spend a lot of time with him.
You still talk to your 100-year-old mentor?
All the time.
That's amazing.
He's my guy. Senator Marshall Roush, if y'all want to shout him out.
Amazing. I love it. Okay. Let's take a darker turn to this conversation because it's too happy right now.
Let's do it.
So I want to actually really, really understand. Like, this audience, I think, is really curious. What actually happens to most NBA stars when they retire? Like, what were you actually noticing that maybe were the positive habits that you want to adopt for yourself, but also the ones that you definitely want to avoid? Like, what happened to all your peers?
They're still around. They rich. They fucking filthy rich with big ass houses and like lakes in the back and boats. No. I'm about to tell you. They have boats and businesses and they don't give a shit about being like me, being out in public.
Are they happy?
They are extremely happy. I mean, if I had a boat in my backyard, I live here. But they are. I think my generation, right, was the generation that actually, and if you're in our age range, I always say we're the ones that kind of had to remove the scar tissue. You know what I mean? From society, from culture, and say oh, even though you think I'm an athlete, I'm actually a real estate investor, or I'm in the medical. And so a lot of guys, my peers, they're all in the great businesses. We actually listen when they were hey, the people who are sitting on the floor, are people that are in business, and those people became the next owners. And so we kind of learned this lesson around networking, and it was really network. We didn't really know, but I think when you build relationships with the right people and you're convinced of who you want to be when you grow up, then you'll find the right people that'll meet you and help you succeed. You just have to be smart enough and patient enough to just weed out the people who want to be around you just for a good story, or just because the feeling that you would, that a fan would feel oh, I want to hang out with this guy.
Okay, so I wasn't we didn't prep for this interview.
It's okay. But the dark side to that, I would say the other side to that. But my friends, I'm telling you, dude, you said, where are my peers? They're rich. I hang out at their house all the time. But the other side of that is you don't know who you are or who you want to be when you grow up. And so when you retire, you're in a purgatory because you've done something your entire life, that you've been great at. You're in the prime, right, of your mind, body, and soul and everything that you can give, and you're not wanted. And so you have to, start to figure out, where are you wanted? I would say what I went through was, I had to almost give myself amnesia from whatever I accomplished in basketball to be all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be focused in this business world. And when people approach me wanting to talk about basketball, I'll just act like I never played basketball before, right? It worked too, but it's scary, right? Because you forget, you can also trick yourself of not leaning into what made you good at accomplishing what you had to accomplish. And so that led me to Business Inside the Game, where I start saying, everything that I need to know. And all these people at every conference, it all ties back to the NBA. It all ties back to basketball in some shape, form, or fashion. It's just a different name and a different title. And then that's where I started to kind of gain that visibility and start being able to see people in their space, in their business, and automatically register like, oh, you're like the athletic trainer, and like, and start looking at companies and seeing if it was mobilized in our space in basketball and our world of culture, like how would a tech entrepreneur, or how would a company or a product work in this space? And so, I learned that through having to navigate a lot of things on my own, successes and failures. And I think for athletes, you're focused on the work, right? You focus on being the best basketball player you can be a lot. And a lot of times there's a lot of people around that don't understand you. You don't understand them. And so it's hard to navigate who you want to be when you grow up if you don't build that as you exit.
There's an interesting analogy that was coming to my mind, Baron, as I was hearing about this. So there's clearly a lot of founders out here, and don't raise your hands for this next part, but I'm sure a number of you have actually gone through some pretty substantial exits, maybe relatively young in life. I actually just met with this one guy last week, 29 years old, had tremendous success in his first company. The guy was actually quite miserable.
Yeah.
I think he didn't really have a sense, he didn't really have that run up to build the values for himself, the self-awareness of this is who I am. And when he sold his company and got his bag and everything like that, all he's thinking about now is what next? I'm too early to retire. I'm feeling really lonely. It is a pretty lonely journey to be a 29-year-old worth $100 million. Of course, I'm not crying for him like tonight in his fluffy bed, but I bet there's actually some of that too, right? That's happening.
A lot of that. Yeah. I mean, we live in a lonely space, right? In order to be able to be in shape, accomplish what you want, you live in a world by yourself. Yeah. And the greater you are, the better you are, the lonelier you are, right? So, for basketball, it's art. You look at the Kobe Bryants, the Michael Jordans, nobody paints with them. You're not allowed in the studio, you're not welcome in the studio because they don't want you to see their art until you see it. You know what I mean? And so you have, kind of all these different type of art forms, and that leads to I need to be isolated. And so I think for us in our journey, we have a little bit better ecosystem of grooming us to figure out where we are and how self-aware we are, because we have to deal with media every day. But it is a lonely journey. No matter how much money you have, you have to make you got to make a pact with yourself, right? What's going to make you happy? If you have $1 billion exit and you're a billionaire, great, but the money is never going to make you happy. You know what I mean? The money is never going to make you happy. It's who you are. It's who is around you, who you're sharing with, who's sharing your success with you, but money only just, the richer you are, the lonelier you are, but even if you're poor, you ain't got no money, you could be lonely too. So,
That's okay. That's pretty good. So, by the way, I have maybe 3 more questions for Baron, and then we're going to reserve 25, 30 minutes for open Q&A. So if you have a question for our esteemed guest tonight, be prepared to raise your hand, and we'll have a mic coming out to you in just a moment here. And I actually want to talk about the ventures that you're working on now. So let's first start with Business Inside the Game. So this is a membership platform for multi-hyphenates. I really love this term. Athlete/creator/entrepreneur/investor/founder. Essentially, these are future leaders with multidisciplinary skills. Can you tell us a little bit more about the inception behind Business Inside the Game, why you started this?
I started it when I retired. I went to a bunch of conferences, and I was lonely, right? I got a lot of attention, right? But I didn't know what type of attention from who I was getting, what kind of card or what kind of conversations. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to do this myself. And so I started doing my own summits because I wanted to curate the right people, put the right people on stage, and cross-pollinate industries and thought leaders. And that became kind of like a great space for me to build my own ecosystem. That was 9 years ago. Well, All-Star Weekend will be 9 years in San Francisco. And we have over 5,000 people. You know, I've amassed like a 5,000 person CRM from all these damn conferences and West and Fest and, you know what I mean, cons. And the goal was, well, now what do I do with them? You know, and so what inspired me to create Big was there's 5,000 people in my network. If I can get in contact with them, if I can interview them, if I can put them on stage, you know, my goal as a point guard or a host is to really build a platform where I know who's in the room, I can make the connections and, you know, put the right people with the right people and have the right message. And so that's how it started. Where we're at now, I would say we're building kind of the first relationship intelligence engine, right? How do we understand our members when people are walking in here and name tags? Like, that's freaking me out right now just to sign up, you know. But how do we use AI? How do we use tools to further know when we walk in a room, there's 5 people here that I know I need to meet because we all like wearing shorts and flip-flops to our first day at work. You know what I mean? Or, you know, I'm in the medical space, but this person is in the media space doing things in medical. And so we're going to spend a lot of time networking. And so for us, it's like we want to better understand our members so they better understand who's in the room, right? Because high tide rises all ships. And if you bring the right people in the right ecosystem, you know, my job is just to amplify, interview, put you on stage, take you to All-Star Weekend, Super Bowl, and cross-pollinate that with the athletes, entertainers, and the people, you know, who want to be in this space but are just as focused as you are building your tech company.
By the way, I'd be happy to go to All-Star Weekend with you, Baron. So
it's in San Francisco. It's in your backyard.
We can roll up in my minivan. All right, so I got 2 more questions for Baron here. One is, this one I've been really excited to ask you is, how do you prioritize your time? So it's not just business inside a game. You also have Baron Davis Enterprises. I see you commentating sometime on TV. I see you in some movies as an actor and definitely as a producer.
Joyride, check it out.
When I was in Joyride, I think I was the only person screaming like, "That's Barrett!"
Yeah.
And people are like, "Well, shut up." And then, you know, you got a ton of ventures that you're constantly spinning up. You're investing a lot. So, like, walk us through like a typical week.
Typical week outside of my kids, dropping my kids off at school, coaching flag football. We're like 4-time champs. I just had to say that.
Nice.
Like that's my sports pleasure. But usually start my day on calls, working on with the big team, just working through a lot of like, whether it's tech hiccups or, you know, membership onboarding. You know, we're still a startup, so a lot of the meetings, and for me, the way my brain works, it all works through big, right? So, you know, whether it's a brand we're talking to, whether it's a member we're talking to, an entrepreneur, they kind of all find their way back into our CIM, back into our membership club, right? And then that's how I'm able to start thinking about people. So it creates an incredible filter. What I've learned is, you know, you get a business card, somebody else get a business card, but I have access to both. And so that's what I spend most of my time is talking to investors, talking to entrepreneurs and members, and then talking to brands around, you know, sponsoring events like All-Star, things like that.
So,
but like the other stuff, like commentating, that's easy.
You just
acting,
show up for those?
I just show up. Yeah,
really?
I just literally show up. I don't audition.
Check out Joyride on Amazon.
I play Baron Davis in the movie, so
it
wasn't that hard.
It's a steamy hookup scene. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, that was my first like sex scene and like makeout scene.
Yeah, I was a little too excited to see that too. I was just like, "Yeah, that's Baron." Yeah, my wife's like, "Stop talking right now." Just
I got some points for that. I got invited back, you know.
There you go. Okay, actually, 2 more questions. I learned that we have two things in common tonight, Baron. One was we were both 5'3" in sophomore year. So that's exciting. I can tell that's my mom. And then the second was actually that you have 2 young kids just like me. I love that. So what have your children taught you?
Everything. Patience. What hard work is. Filtering my time. What love means. What unconditional love means. How to be a better teacher. How to be a better coach. How to be a better founder, CEO. I learned so much through them. Like when I'm coaching the kids and, we hardly ever lose. So I have to figure out when I have to motivate them. But sometimes I go back and I realize how did I communicate to these, even though we won, how did I communicate to them? And then how did I communicate to them all? So it's, paying attention to details. Also when I'm coaching my kids, allowing other people to coach. And even though I'm the coach, my son reminds me in the huddle, I'm like, who am I? Everybody's like, the coach. And he's like, well, you're my dad technically. And I'm like, dude, I'm the coach right now. And so we go through this thing, but it's allowing other people, to kind of grow and nurture your child. And so I've become, really like a re-understander of life. Through my kids, what's cool. They know everything that's cool. Music. They make video game. One kid has a clothing line that he's coming out with called Slime. It's fire. All the fashion people are like, who did this? I'm like, my 8-year-old son. They're like, bring him to me. I want to work with him. You know what I mean? But he's an artist and he builds games. The other one is an athlete. He was pissed at me because we had a fantasy basketball draft during his game. And then the day he calls me, he's like, yo, who signed me up for fantasy? I'm like, bro, I did. Are you not happy? He was like, I don't like this team. Tell him to redo it. So he's the boss CEO. So I learned a lot just about how I need to treat people, how I need to talk to people. You know what I mean? And then I would say overall, just every day waking up, it's they give me purpose.
That's beautiful. All right, so we're going to open up to questions in just a second here. Here's the last thing. This is a game that I like to play increasingly, that I used to play in middle school, which is called Two Truths and a Lie. Okay, so Baron, can you share 3 supposed facts about yourself? One must be a lie, and as an audience, we can try to guess which one is the lie. All right. Take as much time as you need.
I'm a lot of time. I don't remember shit.
2 truths, 1 lie.
2
middle
truths.
School. Baron Davis.
I was shortlisted for an Oscar. I was an NBA All-Star.
Come on.
No, I need a line. No, just kidding. Just like.
Come on.
And I was the slam dunk champion 2002 NBA All-Star.
2002. Okay. Here we go. We have option 1, shortlisted for an Oscar. Go see Joyride. Number 2, NBA All-Star. And then number 3, slam dunk champion of 2002. Who here thinks it is number 1? Baron Davis shortlisted for an Oscar. That's a lie. It has to be. You're voting for the lie.
Who thinks that's a lie?
Okay.
Well, they have AI. They just bloop.
Don't ruin the game, man.
Okay. Show of hands, number 1.
Show of hands, number 1. Okay, Oscar. Number 2, NBA All-Star. Is that the lie?
No.
One person thinks you're lying about that one.
Well, I'll send you some highlights. I'll text you my highlights.
My opening remarks literally said he's a 2-time NBA All-Star. I'm going to forgive you. Don't worry about it. Number 3, slam dunk champ of 2002. Who thinks he's lying? 5'3" guy right here. Slam dunk champ. Okay. And the lie is?
The people who have AI know I did not win the slam dunk championship.
Wow.
So I was in a slant. I did like this blindfold thing. I don't know if anybody watched that. It's probably one of the most embarrassing things in my life. I put this freaking headband on my eyes, and I was going to do like a blind dunk, right? And so David Wesley was like, dude, you can't see shit. I was like, I know. So I was like, dude, cut holes in it. I was like, cut holes in the eyes, right? And so we tried to cut these little slivers so I can see. But the string of the headband was all in my eyes and shit.
Oh, no.
And so I like attempted to dunk, and they disqualified me. And I lost. And he kept saying, dude, you don't have to do this. Just do a fucking regular dunk you do in practice, you'll win. I was like, no, this is entertainment, dude. He was like, but you can't see. I was like, who cares? Like, I missed the first one on purpose. I'll make the second one. And when I missed the first one, they were like, oh, he's disqualified. And so, egg on my face.
I'm so sorry to hear that, but I do like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle technique of just like biting into like a blindfold there. Pretty crazy, actually. All right, well, before we get into Q&A, can we give some claps to Baron Davis here?
Thank you all.
Great journey.
Thank you for your
Incredible
patience.
journey. I just set an alarm for 25 minutes on my watch because that's how much time we have to actually have some open Q&A. So again, in this social contract that we have here, it's open, it's a very safe space, a way for us to enjoy each other's fellowship, get to really know Baron. Anyone have a question that they'd like to start with? All right, I'll come over to the crowd. I'll start over here. Can you say your name as well?
John. You obviously know a lot about teamwork and creating a team. And you've had to deal with partners that could be kind of remote to this guy here. And I'm wondering, as it gets smaller, like, how did you guys connect, and what made you think about him as being somebody that could be a good partner?
Eric is a point guard, period. He's, usually when I do my podcast, I give the intros, but I would describe you as a curator, point guard, central intelligence, runs the plays, but also bring people together. And so when I follow you, because this is our first time meeting physically, yeah. And so following him on Twitter, it's like I learn a lot from the people who give good shit to the universe. And like he gives really good information. Like you can tell he's genuine, and the way people respond to him, you know that like he has the essence of a point guard. It's all about curation. And when we talked about this, it was all about everyone else. Like, what can we do? How many people can we bring? Who can we invite? And so for me, it's always like seeing somebody back again into my space. Oh, he's a point guard. I understand. Like, point guards love point guards. You know what I mean? Just because how they move and how they navigate. And so that's where I become a fan. And the portfolio and the investments and, but it's more so like how you move and who you move with and who you're allowing to move into your circle. So,
wow, thank you for saying that. Two things. One, no one has ever described me as a point guard, ever. We haven't played basketball with each other yet. So, but no, those are such kind words. And actually, the second thing, too, Baron and team have actually been super kind to let Hustle Fund be an investor in one of their ventures as well. Slick. So some big things happening on this side of the table here, and we're delighted to be investors as well. By the way, my team also reminded me that the first two people who ask questions will get their very own Hippocorn. So thank you, John, for kicking things off. I'd actually like to see... because we can balance the Q&A, if a woman has a question for the other Hippocorn here. Actually, I'm going to go to the back over there. Hello? Please say your name, and here is your Hippocorn. Question for Baron?
Sorry, yes, I can. What was the question?
She just wanted the bear, dude. That's all. You know that.
Hang on a second.
She just wanted the bear. So she got.
You
She
have
was
a question
like,
for this incredible guest?
bear.
Oh,
You can have the bear. You can have mine.
All right. I'm going to keep my eye on you later. But let's go to a question right here. Thank you. What's your name? Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. Baron, really appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing a lot of your insight. I think everyone here can really appreciate it. It's a two-part question. With everything that you've done in your life, are you happy with where you are in your entrepreneur journey? And if you are not, what's the outlook? What's the 5-year plan, 10-year plan for you?
That's a great question. I am happy now in my entrepreneur journey. I think, when you're building, you want to get a product to market so people can see what you're actually building. So I would say I'm happy now. Over the next 5 years, hopefully you all are members on the big platform. Slick is the technology that power it, thanks to investors like Eric. So in 5 years, the goal is to have this, macro, micro network of intelligence and matchmaking, right? So that would be our ultimate goal. I don't like to talk about, I want to exit or things like that. I'm just looking at, damn, if we can get to a magic number of members that we have on our board, then we'll never run out of money and we'll do more good than we'll make money.
Is that magic number confidential?
Well, for me, I'm going to assume another role at the company once we get to 2,000 members.
Okay. Awesome. Questions here. So I'm going to go right here next.
Thank you, Bonnie, German guy. Thank you for your genuine energy. What are you the most scared of right now? What are you scared of right now?
I can't. What do you say? What am I scared of? All right. I ain't really scared of nothing. Yeah, I'm not really scared of anything. Scared of heights, but I fly a lot, so that don't make no sense. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm scared of anything. Maybe I'm scared of like not building with this team and keep going forward. Maybe I would say the unknown as an entrepreneur is scary. So that would be the only thing. Like scared if this shit doesn't happen. That would be.
All right, that's not good enough for me, Baron. I want to actually dig into this more because this has been overwhelmingly positive this evening. So one of the concepts that my wife is a executive coach, she told me about this concept called sabotaging voices, which is this notion that only within yourself, you get this fight or flight reaction sometimes in your journey where your brain is just telling you, like, you're not good enough, you're a fraud, you're never going to make it, like, if only people find out. So I actually see, like, a pretty interesting journey that you've had where you probably have overcome and built yourself such a great platform to set yourself up post-MBA. But when you're rising up, when you're that kid, before Magic Johnson, picked you out and said, like, you're a special kid, were there any sabotaging voices that you're fighting? Was it, like, the heights, the weight, or just the skills even, like, when you're... Life. Tell us more.
I just feel like nobody's seen more than I have from 0 to 8. And so from 0 to 8, I've seen the worst. Every year after that, it only got better. So I thank my grandparents for basically adopting me and my sister and like having a true home. But I can't help but be positive. Because if you knew like everything that I've seen, everything that I've been through, the people that I've loved, the people I still love, I can't help but be positive. I lived my dream as an MBA. I made money as a basketball player. I'm connected to like incredible people, like I can't think about anything but like what is the solution and the positive outcome, because I understand my trauma, I understand the PTSD and like where I was as a child, where my kids won't be, but where kids were like me, and like I gotta go move in positivity, you know what I mean? So more people can like be a part of this shit, so we can like clear up more scar tissue.
That deserves some claps right there. That's amazing. Super beautiful. Super beautiful. Question, June, was that you first?
Plus, in basketball, you can be on a team with a negative attitude.
The big team.
You can't be on any team with a negative attitude. Name somebody on the NBA team with a negative attitude, they probably won't be on the team very long.
So I'm glad that you said that, actually, just before we get into the next question, because there's actually something that our team has been trying to fight for a long time, that I always got the sense that you're also on the same side as us. We've been celebrating a lot of brilliant jerks in our industry in the last couple of years, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not denying
Totally.
that, like, you know, you can be brilliant, you can be an asshole, you can still have a net sum positive impact to the world. But I also refuse to believe that you can't also just be a brilliant, nice guy or nice girl, nice person, and still kick some serious ass here too, right?
Yep.
And this is why, like, Founder Friends events and leaders like Baron matter, right? We need to see like more role models like Baron, who are just bring lots of positivity, generosity, can still be brilliant and aggressive in their careers and all that stuff, right? And I waver sometimes between loving and hating this industry, because I do feel those negative forces when I'm on social media, as much as I'm addicted to Twitter. But then I have conversations like this with you, Baron.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, we got a couple more questions here. So, June, I saw your hand, and I'm going to go back, and then we'll...
Hey, Baron. June here, and just for some context, I'm with an early stage VC fund based out of Taiwan, and we spend a lot of time speaking with other founders. And when I'm speaking with founders, they're really looking for this like gritty mindset that enables them to not only power through failures, but almost embrace it. For you, Baron, I'm curious, what is your relationship with failure? How do you deal with it? And perhaps you can share some of your favorite failures over the year, or some of the best that didn't work out for you.
Love that question. Failures are micro successes. I couldn't dribble between my legs, and I would dribble between my legs until I could dribble to the school, and if I messed up, I would start over. So failure are micro successes. You keep trying, you will overcome. So there's no such thing as failing. That's what I believe.
Was that a mindset you always had?
Yeah. I mean, you have to have that mindset, right? Because if you feel like, oh, I'm a failure, then like, where the fuck do you go from there? You know what I mean? Like, you're at the bottom. Like, oh, I failed. Oh, damn, where do I go from there? It's not. It's like, damn, I fucked up, or I made a mistake, or some shit exploded, or some shit didn't go right. What is my lesson? Right? Because if you look at it and say, I failed, that means you quit. That means you gave up. That means there was no lesson. There was nothing to learn. There was somebody benefited or not, or everybody. Like, there are things you learn about yourself when you don't hit the goals when you think you're going to hit them. You know what I mean? And so you learn resiliency. You learn how to be nimble and pivot. You learn how to network and outreach and create or collect more data and research. So I don't believe in failure. I just believe that there are small steps to like being more successful.
That's incredible. Carly and team, that's a great t-shirt. Failures are micro successes. Yeah, I'd buy that one. I love that. Okay, I want to actually go to the back. For the folks who've been standing this entire time, thank you so much for standing. Do you have a question for Baron? I'm going to go right over here to this gentleman. Can you share your name?
Thanks. Yeah, my name is Kyle. Well, most of us here are from LA, and wondering if your transition as a businessman was impacted at all by Kobe, and if it was at all, if you could share any story.
I love Kobe. We're very much alike and very different. And Kobe and I would have an argument on the sky. He would say it's gray, and I would say you're out of your mind. And he was like, dude, the sky is gray. So like Kobe and I were like kind of like he's very creative, very strategic. I think what I learned from Kobe is like the dude is a machine. Like he is just every single attention to detail. I remember we were talking about like just business and life after basketball, and he would, I was giving him my plan, he was giving me his plan, and like the way he was moving through, like how he was walking me through his process was like so methodical. You know what I mean? It was almost like he was breaking down basketball. And so that's when I start realizing, like, hold on, dude, like he's the same person in business. He's going to be the same person that he was in basketball. And it's because of his mentality, and it's because everything that he had in basketball is a transferable skill, into the business world. The way he looks at the game, the way he analyzes the game, like the numbers, like looking at numbers, like he gets paid a lot of money. He has a contract, so he knows, corporate America. And so I started looking at that and like, all right, you got to start being Mamba mentality in your business, right? You have to strategically start aligning 1 step, 2 steps, pump fake, you know what I mean? And so if you watch Kobe's game and you watch his smooth transition to business, it's because he was very methodical of how he picked his team.
Great question. All right, it's actually really nice back here. It's kind of cool. There's some airflow.
It looks good back there.
It does. It feels nice. Is there a question on this side? I've been sort of ignoring y'all over here. Not on purpose. I saw your hand go up pretty early. Can you say your name?
Hi, Anthony. I'm curious about for BIG, the membership community, how you decided you wanted to take it in a tech-focused direction versus kind of a, let's say, traditional membership community that might be more, that doesn't necessarily need to have the tech underlying it.
I think the tech component, for me, like I look at technology as a tool to bring people together. And so, I'd been doing BIG for, I would say about 8 years. We've done over 50, 60 events, mixers, and people would come up to me and be like, oh my God, I met 3 people would come up and be like, we met everybody I'm supposed to meet right here. And I was like, damn, this is magic. But like, I can't measure that, right? And I don't know, sometimes I don't even know who the people are. It's like friends bringing friends. And so the tech component side was, I need to understand who these people are that I'm inviting. I need to learn what industry they come from, and I need to learn where I want to learn from them, right? So who are the best innovators? Who are the best investors? Who are the best entrepreneurs? We don't know, right? But there are great thought leaders and great conversations. And so technology plays a very big part of our lives, and the connectivity of technology by pushing a button or sliding a profile, that's kind of where I start rabbit holing. And so I built my first tech platform in 2004 when I was playing. It was called ibeatyou.com. And I just did it because I wanted to compete with my friends on the internet when it was just a computer and a webcam, on who had the freshest shoes for the day. And that was pre-iPhone. And so I always looked at technology as connectivity and a great sense of communication. And so for BIG, it's really how can we understand the people that are in our membership club, and then how do we best recommend the right people to those people, right? And so that's where I'm at. That's where I think the tech is at. And so our goal is to build a great community. And for me, I stop investing so I can start amplifying, so I can start hosting, so I can have the right entrepreneurs on my podcast, so I can bring the right people in the right room. And I looked at the investment side and said, okay, if I give that up, then I can be great for everybody, and I can champion everybody. and big can be that club that helps elevate people. And it wouldn't happen without the technology, without the membership sign up, the ticketing, the paywall, the media kit, right? We wanted to address all ways that people took in content and the way people engage with content. And so that's why we built an app, so people can have their own private key, they can have their own private network, and you can share if you want, but if not, you're gonna find magic in this ecosystem.
I do encourage you, if you have a moment to talk to Barron, to actually have him show you the demo of the card. He actually showed me on my phone right as we walked in. That thing was pretty well done. So very interesting future of ticketing, membership kind of model he got there.
I mean, the first wave is, really just a business card.
Yeah.
How do you engage with people? And then, here's your information. I'm the CEO of something, but can you lead right to your portal or your website or your portfolio? So it's more so it's a proof of validation, right? And a promo offering of who you are.
If I can print a himbacorn image on mine.
Oh, we can do that.
Yeah, okay. I'm in. All right.
Matt.
There you
Tino
go.
and Matt in here. Carly
there you go.
On the team. Our team is here. Washe. We got to make one of these.
That's
hippos.
right.
Hustle Fund Hippos.
Hippocorn is the way to go.
Hippocorn.
No other
like
venture
that.
capital fund has one, I think, or it sells plushie dolls because it's psychotic. All right, so I think we have time for maybe one or two more. If there's a question on the edge here. I see a question over there. I'm going to go to you. Here we go. I can move like Barron. Let's go. What's your name?
Hi, how are you? My name is Canberra. I work for JustWorks. Hi. I had a question. What's more satisfying, closing a round of funding or dunking over AK-47?
Ooh, we didn't win the series. That was a good dunk, though. I would say closing a round of funding.
Right. We just closed our family and friends, so that was amazing because it takes a lot of pressure off me. That dunk I still had to play, and we wound up losing the series, and nightmares. But people notice me for that all the time, and so you see people, and they're coming at you at a conference, and they're like, that dunk on Carolinko? I'm like, thank you. That's what I'm here for. Just kidding.
Okay, and I think maybe two more. Actually, we can do this. Yeah, go ahead. You had a question?
All right, yeah. This is a basketball question. At what age did you really start to get a sense that you could make it to the league?
Right after that Magic Johnson conversation. Literally right after that Magic Johnson conversation. I was like, damn, I got a chance. And then later that summer, they started letting me play. And then I dunked on a guy named LaSalle Thompson. He was 6'10", 275 pounds.
Barron, a little closer to your mouth.
Can you hear me?
This.
Oh, but it's echoing. I dunked on LaSalle Thompson. He was 275 pounds, 6'8", and I went down the middle. I dunked on him. Everybody ran out the gym, and I was like, I'm going pro. That was the moment. That was the same summer.
Okay, that's pretty good. One last question for Barron Davis. I'm hoping that this is a real banger question, and I'd like to actually end with a lady here, too, so thank you so much. And we do have this space until 8:30, so go ahead. What's your question?
What percentage of your success is attributed to hard work, and what percentage is contributed to luck?
100% is attributed to hard work. I think luck is a byproduct of hard work. I have the record for the longest shot in the NBA history. Why? I don't know. Was it luck? Yes. Did I practice that shot? No. But I did, you know what I mean? And so, I would say that. I think you work hard probably 95% of the time, and then luck happens 5% of the time. But you're giving 100% of the effort, right? So your skill, right? Your skill is going to bring luck, right? As a VC, I had an argument with a VC, and he told me he was an expert. And I was like, well, would you rather be an expert or lucky? And he was he was mad because I was like, I'd rather be lucky. So what are you an expert in? You know, and so, you know, I think luck happens as a byproduct of your hard work.
I love that. Well, we can keep going for the rest of this evening. We only have the space until 8:30. Baron is clearly an incredible guest with an incredible story, but you know what? There's a really good journey that each of you has to share as well, and I'm going to give you some time to actually get to know each other as well. Can we give a huge thanks?
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you so much, Baron.